Well, we're back. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and the Aid to Victims of Domestic Abuse, or AVDA, is a nonprofit dedicated to violence intervention and prevention.
Yeah, here in the greater Houston area, they offer domestic abuse programs, and recently they've been traveling to local high schools to help educate teenagers. This morning we are here with Michaela Gungara and Maisha Coulter, CEO of Aid of Victims of Domestic Abuse, or AVDA, to have this really important conversation with us and our families at home.
Provide legal representation to survivors of domestic abuse in court. So divorces, custody, child support, whenever they need those things. We also provide civil protective orders on behalf of survivors. We provide the largest BIP program in the state, and BIP stands for Battering, Intervention, and Prevention. And that is for the person who's been identified as a harm doer in the relationship. Their psychoeducation classes, minimum of 18 weeks. Our facilitators are mental health providers, LPCs, licensed clinical social workers, and psychologists who facilitate the classes. Finally, we have our CAP program, which is our offering to prevention. We really work with young people, anyone who needs to know what domestic violence is and how it impacts all of us. And we're particularly excited about Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month because we can sort of capitalize on that time with doing some of the prevention work that we already do. We go to any school that wants us there to provide education and really reach out to young people and talk to them about what healthy relationships are and what unhealthy relationships are.
Never too soon to start talking
Absolutely
about what a
not.
healthy relationship looks like. Michaela, how has AVDA worked in your life? How has it been important for you?
So actually, my mom actually works with AVDA as well. And for me, I am a survivor of a teen dating domestic violence relationship. So at that time, my mom saw a lot of signs within me. A couple of the signs to look for, I would say when your child becomes withdrawn from the family, not acting their normal selves. You can look for weight loss or weight gain. For me, I'm already a petite girl and I lost a lot of weight. And for me, that was my first real relationship. I was about 16, 17 years old, and approximately like 1 in 3 teens in the U.S. Do go through a violent relationship at that time. And so for me, working with AVDA, they had different portions in there. Like I went to therapy afterwards because it was very traumatic for me, very, very hard. I didn't want to speak to my mom, and I knew she worked with people who can help me, you know, and that's another thing for parents, is that your teen might not want to speak to you. So you kind of just got to watch. They might try to have an outlet elsewhere, but it's definitely not always the parent.
Parents, if they're in tune, will notice, or should hopefully notice something.
Yes.
There's a big enough change in the person that they
Yes.
should notice.
Yeah, and that's hard for parents to swallow, right? We want our kids to come to us, but we can also help if they don't want to come to us.
Absolutely.
Right, Maisha? And do you find that maybe these signs or teens are just dealing with these relationships at a younger and younger age?
Unfortunately, yes. The age that we try to start educating young people about is really middle school. Yeah. So 11, 12, 13-year-olds, we really want them to know about unhealthy relationships. And that doesn't have to be an intimate relationship, but it could be just the friendship. So we all know about bullying and, you know, not treating the person who you care about in a healthy and respectful way. And that's the beginning of teen dating violence too. It is not listening, being controlling, being emotionally abusive toward the other person. So treating them in a toxic way, talking to them in a way that would not be acceptable in any relationship. But certainly when you have identified this person as someone you like or love, you want to treat them with, you know, respect, trust, and you want to have sort of a mutual relationship between the two of you. And that doesn't always happen. And that's what we try to emphasize with them. When you see something that doesn't feel right, or you hear things that don't sound right from a person who says, I love you, I care about you, who are your friends, then you have to start to wonder if this is truly the right kind of friend or intimate friend to have.
Yeah.
And it can even be, you know, the littlest ones that we have. It's like just because a boy pulls your hair,
absolutely,
it's not, he likes you anymore.
Yeah, we need to get rid of those type of stereotypes. You know, he pulled your hair and so that means he likes you. That is completely inappropriate, and that's something that we should definitely do away with in our communication with our young people. You should not be physically assaulted, because that's what it is. And that's a demonstration of care or love. And so that was a misinterpretation of how things were. And we hopefully have started to have conversations with people who are in those spaces, and of course parents, to let them know that don't condone that type of talk, because it does leave an impression on a young person that it is okay to behave in a way that is not acceptable.
And I imagine, Michaela, you've learned some of that along the way. What have you learned about yourself in this, sort of mission to find a healthy relationship in life?
It actually took me a very long time to find myself again, because I lost myself throughout that entire relationship. Because a lot of people think that it always just starts in the home. That's not always the case. For me, I had a great upbringing, so I did not see violence in my home. But like Maisha said, it starts at a very young age. You hear it in music, social media, there's violence going around. And for me, once I did go to therapy and things like that, I started to realize that I was a lot stronger than I thought I was. I knew something wasn't right. Something didn't feel right to me. And I would cry out for help every now and then. But I just really learned to refine myself, and then speaking out to younger people as well. When I did finally speak out, and when I saw how many young ladies and men are actually in these relationships, it was out of this world to me, to know that people are actually dealing with this at such a young age.
Well, and you want them to have the confidence that you found. through
Yes.
AVDA, which
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maisha, tell us where people can get more information.
Sure, you could always call us at 713-224-9911. We can do all kinds of things, including giving presentations to young people and to adults about this issue. And certainly we can provide any type of direct services to an individual who might be experiencing domestic abuse, to include protective orders, therapy, so support groups, as well as individual therapy to help them through that process and getting them to be self-aware, and then also to transition from the damage that trauma has on them.
Yes.
Really leading them through. It's
Exactly.
beautiful.
Maisha and Michaela, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
with
Thank you for
us.
having us.